Hi everyone, it's Nana's story time. So if you're sitting all snuggly wugglies and comfortable and ready for bed, then Nana will read you a little story tonight, and it's called The Imp Without a Name. There was once an imp whose name nobody knew. He was little and nimble, with green eyes like a cat and a long tail that he wore tied around his waist. He came to live in Hollyhock Town. Though nobody wanted him to, Hollyhock Town was beautiful and all the cottages were bright and neat as a new pin. Hollyhocks grew there all the year round, and marigolds and poppies and sweet williams shone in every garden. But not in the imp's garden. No, nothing grew there at all except weeds. The imp was lazy. He wouldn't dig, he wouldn't sow seeds, and he wouldn't hang his garden gate straight when it was crooked. He wouldn't get his window mended when he broke it. He wouldn't wash his curtains so they got blacker and blacker because the chimney smoked, and the imp was too lazy to sweep it. The folk of Hollyhock Town wished they could make the imp leave his dirty untidy house and garden sport their pretty town. It stood right in the middle and everyone could see it. If only it had been tucked away somewhere, it wouldn't have been so bad. Let's go to the next council meeting in Fairyland and ask if we can send the imp away somewhere else. Said the old gnome Snoozy. Yes, that's a good idea, said Hallow the brownie, his sharp eyes twinkling. 4 of us will go and say that what a nuisance he is, and ask the council to write to him and make him leave our neat little village. So they went to the next council meeting and asked the chairman if they might do what he might do what they wanted. Certainly, he said, taking up his pen. I will send him a notice myself. What's his name? We don't know, said Hallow the brownie. He's never told anyone, and we can't find out. Oh well, said the chairman, putting down his pen, I can't write to somebody who hasn't a name. You must find his name and I'll send him notice then. The 4 from Hollyhock Town went back home, wondering how they could find out the imp's name. If he wouldn't tell them, what were they to do? Nobody knew who he was or where he'd come from, or even if he had any friends. It was a puzzle. I know, said Hallow, looking at the others with his bright eyes. I'll slip into his house when he's out and see if his name is on any of his books. People often have their names on their books, you know. Yes, that's a good idea, said Snoozy. But be sure not to get caught, Hallow. The imp knows a lot of magic. You might find yourself in a tight fix if he catches you. I'll be careful, said Hallow. So he watched and waited for the imp to go out. This was easy because Hallow lived opposite the imp. He thought he would do some gardening, and then from his front garden he would see when the imp went out. I'll dig up my front bed and plant my mustard and cress there, thought Hallow to himself, and I shan't be wasting my time then. So he got a packet of mustard seeds and a packet of cress seeds and went into his front garden. He began to dig. And he hadn't dug for more than 10 minutes when he heard the door of the imp's house bang. He looked up. The imp was going down the road. Hi, are you off to catch the bus? Asked Hallow at once. Yes, said the imp. I'm going away for the day. See you later. Goodbye. Ha, thought Hallow, pleased. That's very good. I can get into his house and look for his name as long as I like. He washed his hands and put away his spade, and then ran across the road to the imp's dirty, untidy house. The front door was locked, so he went round the back. That was locked too. But there was a window open, and Hallow soon slipped in. Then he began to look around. There were a great many books there. He opened them one after the other, hoping to see the imp's name written in them, but no, there didn't seem to be a name written anywhere at all. Hallow looked through at least 50 books, and then sighed. It was a tiring job, looking for somebody he was so badly wanted to find and couldn't. Well, it was no good. There wasn't a name in any of the books. Perhaps the imp had his name marked on his clothes. Hallow went into his little bedroom and looked at the coats hanging up. Nope, not a single name on those either. Then he suddenly thought of the imp's desk. Perhaps his name would be on the papers there. He went to the kitchen, where he had seen a desk, but it was locked. Hallow was just turning away in despair when he caught sight of a letter that the imp had written to someone. At the bottom he'd signed his name. There it was, quite plain to see. Hallo read it. Tom Tit Tot. Oh ho, so that's your name, little imp. Tom Tit Tot. Yes, said the voice suddenly. That's my name, you horrid little sneaking brownie. What do you mean by coming in here when I'm out? Hallo looked up in fright. Goodness gracious, the imp had come back quite quietly, let himself in. And there he was standing, by Hallo, a horrid look on his face. I came to look for your name, not to steal anything, said Hallo. And I know it now. Yes, Tom Tit Tot. The imp was angry. If people knew his name, they would know who he was and the bad things he had done, and he might be turned out of fairyland. He caught hold of Hallo and shook him. Well, it won't do you any good finding out my name, he said, because I shall send you away to the land of lost people and you'll not come back. Ho, ho, tell my name in that land all you like, but you won't find anyone who wants to know it. Hallo was frightened. Let me go, he begged. I won't tell your name to anyone if you'll only let me go. I'm sorry I came to find it. No, I shan't let you go, said the imp. You will ride on the white owl's back to the lost land tonight. Can't I even go and plant my mustard and cress seeds? But Hallo, I only bought them today. Well, you can plant them in my garden, said the imp with a grin. I'd like some mustard and cress sandwiches. Go and plant them now. And mind, if you so much as say a word to anyone passing by, I'll put your nose till it's I'll pull your nose till it's as long as a cucumber. That's not very nice, is it? Hallo went out into the garden. He was very frightened. Nobody came by at all, so he couldn't have said anything to anyone if he wanted to. As he dug up the ground, a sudden thought came to him. He knew a way of telling the imp's name to everyone. He knew a fine way. He would plant mustard and cress so that when they came up, they'd grow into the imp's name. Hallo often planted the seeds so that his own name, Hallo, grew up in green and fresh. Aha! Although he would be sent away to the lost land and would be one of the lost people, the folk of Hollyhock Town would know the imp's name all the same when the mustard and cress grew up. He quickly planted the seeds and then went back into the imp's cottage. It grew dark. A loud screech was suddenly heard outside. The white owl had arrived. It did not hoot, but screeched in the most tiresome manner. Hallo got on its back and flew off sadly to the land of lost people. The imp banged the door and made himself a cup of cocoa and grinned from ear to ear. He had known quite well what Hallo meant to sneak into his house and find his name, and he had only pretended to go off for the day. The imp was clever, and his green eyes shone like a cat's as he laughed to himself. The summer went on, the seeds began to grow, but the folk of Hollyhock Town thought nothing of seeds growing. They only thought of Hallo. Where could he have gone? They were dreadfully afraid that he had been caught by the imp and sent off somewhere, never to come back. But the imp shook his head and said nothing, no matter what they asked him. Now one day when the children of the town ran by the imp's untidy garden, one of them peeped over and saw the mustard and cress. Oh, he said in surprise, it's growing into a name. But the children could not read the name, so they soon ran off. One of them told his mother, and she ran to tell Snoozy, the old gnome. He listened in amazement, and then at once took up his hat and went to see. He looked a long time at the garden where the mustard and cress was growing. The name is upside down from here, he said. I must go in and see it the right way up. So through the gate he went, and then he could read the name easily in the green mustard and cress. Tom Tit Tot, he read. Tom Tit Tot, my goodness, is that the imp's name? Surely he wouldn't be so foolish as to grow it in mustard and cress for everyone to see. No, Hallo the brownie must have found out and managed to plant it in the garden before the imp sent him off somewhere. He hurried home and wrote to the council, telling them all he knew about and all he feared. The very next day, the grand gnome drove his carriage and knocked on Snoozy's door. Good morning, he said. We've got your letter. This is most important, Snoozy, for if that imp is really Tom Tit Tot, we have been looking for him for years. He stole a crown belonging to the Queen, then escaped, and we haven't heard from him since. So no wonder he would not tell anybody his name. Where does he live? Snoozy took him to the imp's cottage, and the imp was just going out to do his shopping. The grand gnome put his hand on his shoulder and said sternly, "Tom Tit-Tot, come with me. You stole the Queen's crown many years ago, but it's not too late for you to be punished for it." "That's not my name," said the imp boldly. "Then why do you grow it in mustard and cress in your garden?" said the great gnome sternly. The imp stared at the mustard and cress in horror. He hadn't even noticed that he grew his name. Hallow had been cleverer than he had thought him to be. "Yes," said the great gnome, "there it is, Tom Tit-Tot. And where is the brownie you caught and sent away, Tom Tit-Tot?" The imp felt full of fear, told all he knew. He was taken away to be judged, and the white owl was sent to the land of lost people to bring back Hallow. There was a great feast when Hallow came back. People crowded around him and praised him for his cleverness in leaving behind the imp's name in mustard and cress. And what do you suppose sandwiches were at the feast? Guess. Yes, you're quite right. They were made of mustard and cress from the Tom Tit-Tot's untidy garden. Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Oh, I'm so glad they got Hallow back. Wouldn't like him to have stayed in the land of lost people, would we? And that naughty imp. You can't get away with things. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you sleep well. And I love you loads and loads. And I'll see you tomorrow. So night-night, Ruby. Night-night, little Max. Night-night, Atty. And night-night, Torben. Nana loves you loads. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.